Well, hello. Today is Friday, April 24th, 2020. My name is Angela Hooper Menifield, and this is your HR Moment with Menifield and Associates. So, we're at the end of week 6 in our stay home, safe distancing situation here in New Jersey, and things continue to change each week. And so, in looking at the state of things and how things have progressed, I just thought it might be a good time for us to begin to talk about some of the uncertainty that we're experiencing. Because let's just be honest, when this started about 6 weeks ago, many of us were told that some of the positions that we held were essential, and it appeared anyway that our jobs were safe, right? And so we weren't as concerned, and we didn't really think about like what would this look like a month or two from now. Now, I think some of the states who've had this happen since it first started are probably wondering a couple of things. One, will it get as bad here as it's been in other places? But the second part of this is, what will be the ramifications of the impact? Well, just in Jersey, one of the things I'll talk about is over the last few days, a couple of things have happened. Whereas it appeared that, for instance, state and government employees, state, city, and federal employees were secure in their employment. Now it appears that that's not necessarily the case. I do believe the university put out today, the State University of New Jersey, which would be Rutgers, that employees at different levels of employment and senior leadership would begin to take pay cuts. And there is some concern, of course, of, continued job employment. I've seen friends and different ones that I know who work for the university posting about that. Well, we had our mayor give a update yesterday, and he said similar things, right? There may be some jobs that are in jeopardy because when the economy is down, there are no revenues in certain areas, and some of the funds that have been allocated to do certain things negate some other things that need to be done, which means the city, the state, or whomever has to pull on those funds to do that work. And so when it comes to funding, there can be allocated funds or unallocated funds. So when funds are allocated for a particular purpose, what that means is they can only be used for that. And then when money is given and it's considered unallocated, or it's not earmarked, I think you might be familiar with that term, that basically means then that you can use that money for whatever the purpose. But my point is this: many of you are supervisors, because again, this is our HR moment, and our objective here at Menifield and Associates is to build and equip supervisors and teams, right? So some of you have the burden and the responsibility to have these conversations with people. And so what I encourage you to do is just, again, be transparent. Tell them what you know that you can tell them. Because again, we do realize when we're in a supervisory position, sometimes we're privy to information we can't tell. But we never want to lie to people. And what I mean by that is, we don't want to tell people their jobs are secure or they don't have to worry when we really don't know that to be true. And I know you may have felt that way at one point, but I just would say, let's be really careful how do we respond to people who ask you questions about their jobs, and just be transparent and say, well, as it stands today, or to the best of my knowledge, but definitely do not assert guarantees. A young person that I recently helped secure a job at an organization, I think she's been there maybe 60 days, close to. Well, she just saw her supervisor get furloughed, and that kind of shook her. She was like, well, wait a minute. Why did they get rid of the supervisor? My thinking is maybe he even said he would be furloughed for a while because of a couple of things. One, we know that things will improve or should improve and get better. But the second part of this is, financially, you can, depending on what the salary is of people, letting go one person can maybe save two. And so it could be that this person took one for the team. I know that I've done that during sequestration periods when I was with the federal government, right? If we got to, decide who can work and who can't, sometimes you take one for the team when you're in leadership. So there could be other reasons. But the second part of this is really this, and this is probably less HR than it is survival mode. I encourage people, and I always have, there's nothing wrong with multiple streams of income or having a side opportunity, doing something that people will pay you to do, finding a way to monetize something you're passionate about that you love. Because this does a couple of things for us, especially in times like these. One, it reminds us that we have something to fall back on and we don't have to start from scratch because guess what? We were already doing it. But the second part of this is this. When you're unsure of how your money situation will turn out, knowing that there is a flow, even if it's smaller than what you're used to, can minimize some of the stress, right? And so again, this is personal. This is advice. It's not right or wrong. It's just a suggestion. Think about some of those things that you do and do really well. Think about what you might be able to add, how you could add value to people. I read an article where there was a person who had lost their job and basically, and again, this person doesn't mind going outside, right? When I say this, but this person basically started a business of shopping. And I guess this person is doing it and willing to do it, any and everywhere versus things like Instacart and stuff like that. So he's not tied to a business. But I just say all that to say that what we find is there are ways to make money, right? We have to sometimes be creative. And then there are things that we enjoy doing that people would pay us for if we let them. Again, I keep watching the news. I see things like, money being raised for various things, the amount of equipment that's being bought to do certain things. People need to learn how to do things, right? So do you have a skill that somebody could benefit from that maybe you could teach them, right? So these are some things too that I help people with. I think you guys know I have my hand in a few things, right? So I say all that to say, even me, my situation looks different today than it looked a few days ago because some of the entities that I had contracts with or have, I guess they're not past tense, that if they begin to start letting people go, the odds are that there'll be some changes to my contracts or there'll be some, or it may be even canceled, right? But that's okay. One of the things that I even did with all my clients was offer them an opportunity to pull back and pause their services because I didn't want to be like a bill collector over them. But I could do that because I have more than one iron in a fire. And so uncertainty is real. There's not a lot we can do about it. For some people, it creates more anxiety than others. But just be cognizant of the fact that this is a steadily changing situation. What may be the game plan today and what sounds, like the right course today may change. And we have to get okay with that, right? And so, of course, there are a lot of books on the market and things that you can study and read to help you deal with change. One of my favorite, lines to use in training is it's not that people don't like change, they just don't want to be changed. And these situations are making us change. And some of us, not in the best, like I see a lot of meanness and cruelty and some things, maybe some bickering on social media. It's not really worth it, right? It's not really worth it. It doesn't add value to you. And if it's not adding value to you, then don't give it your energy. That would be my advice. But again, that's free advice. Take it or leave it. So anyway, I just want you to, again, have clear, accurate, candid conversations with people, those you manage, those you lead, those you employ. Keep them abreast of things. There's such a thing as over communicate versus effective communication. So communicate effectively, not excessively, because some of the excessive communication creates panic and discomfort for people. So those are just a couple of things that I just want to point out. Again, find joy in the things you can. Celebrate the things that matter. So even though there may be some job-related concerns or lack of being able to get out of the house concerns, if you're healthy right now, that in of itself to me is number one. So I feel like I can deal with anything else that comes, even if that means I have to call people and say, hey, can you pause my account? I haven't had to do that, but if I did, I would be comfortable with that. And so consider who you can reach out to if that will give you some peace. But at the same time, don't use that as an excuse not to, pay your debts and or put yourself in a worse situation when this rebounds. So Hey, Charmin. Hey, Linda. Oh, Taurus, I see you too. But anyway, so it's Friday. I try to get on here at least 3 times a week. We have a lot of things going. But if anybody is interested in potentially pursuing their passion and working with a group of professionals who are mentoring people to do that, let me know. Put a message in the comments, inbox me. Next week, we'll have about 3 webinars talking about that specifically and starting a boot camp on May 4th. So if you're interested, let me know about that. Also, hey, Kelly. Also, and I know some people will be in the job market. And so I think it's really important, again, that we figure out what we can do to up-level our skills when it comes to interviewing and all those things. So if that's a service that I can help you with, reach out to me there as well. At the end of the day, try to stay peaceful, calm, center yourself with those things that matter to you. I tell people we all know how to decompress, what works for us. And so you figure out what that thing is for you. And if that's a walk, if that's locking yourself in the bathroom and closing the door and putting on some music, if that's a glass of wine, getting on the phone with your girlfriends, calling your guys and talking about sports, whatever that is, do that for you. You deserve it. There is a reason why we tell people on airplanes to put their mask on first before they try to assist others. You literally cannot give what you don't have. And 6 weeks, and again, I'm talking to the people who've been in this situation that long. Some of you are getting out. I see Atlanta and Georgia is. Some people have never been this restricted as we are in New Jersey, New York. But whatever your situation is, you take care of you first. And when you take care of you, you'll be better able to take care of your team if you're a supervisor, manager, but you'll also be able to take care of your family. And I think at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, right? When it's all said and done. Have a great rest weekend. I love you lots. I appreciate every one of you, and I will see you Monday. But don't forget, inbox me, message me if you or somebody you know and love would need some help with kind of turning that passion into profit or that hustle into a paying gig, and or are looking to up-level their skills when it comes to interviewing or something like that. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.